This is of hereditary principates. So after giving us this regime typology, now he's going to start with the hereditary principate. And I just want to comment on one thing here in this chapter. If you look at the last paragraph of page 8, Machiavelli says, we have in Italy, for example, the Duke of Ferrara, who stood up to the assaults of the Venetians in 84 and those of Pope Julius in 10. Now, when you read that, you think, the assault of who? Well, what should strike you when you read that? When Machiavelli says assaults, what type of assault is he talking about?
One would have assumed that he was talking about an assault in an effort to amalgamate one state into another.
Okay, yes, and through what means?
Military?
Military, right. So then what is a little surprising when you read who were conducting these assaults against which?
That one would come from the Pope.
The Pope, right? And it's just a reminder to us that in the past there were actually popes that were leading armies. Now, what Machiavelli thinks about popes who lead armies, you will find interesting, and that will come later in the text. He goes on, and he says here that the Duke of Ferrara was able to resist these assaults. He says, for no causes other than that he was ancient in that dominion, meaning he had been there for so long, and his family before him, that the people, knowing no other ruler, no other family that ruled them, it was harder to dislodge him. And then he says, for the natural prince, by natural, he simply means by virtue of birth, has fewer causes and less necessity to offend. Now, since he's talking here about the greater fidelity of the people to a prince who has been there for a long time and his family before him, when he says that such a prince, who by virtue of birth and a long lineage of rule prior to him, has fewer causes and less necessity to offend, who is it that Machiavelli is referring to, that such a prince has less necessity to offend?